And we're getting ready to go live here on YouTube. Good to see. There it is streaming. I am your international speaker and trainer. I am your MC for the contact mapping, for the first ever contact mapping live event in Longmont, Colorado, starting tomorrow night. We have a VIP session. So I'll be there. I'll be doing some trainings and some conversations, seeing some old friends, some new friends. And let's go live here on YouTube. Here, boom, there it is streaming. And that's going to be an incredible event. I've looked at some of the speakers that are going to be there. And it's pretty amazing. One is a TED Talk speaker. She talks about why it's so important to reach out to people. She's been reaching out to 3 people a day since 2006, having conversations of curiosity. Kind of cool. So I'll get to meet her. And then there's JW, who's he works with the brain. So that's kind of cool. That'll be awesome to have those conversations. Be a little bit engaging, possibly at a different level in our dialogues. And then I get to see Tom Chenault and Adrian Chenault and Elizabeth Larson and all of the folks who are part of the contact mapping family. There'll be about 70, 80, maybe 90 people who will be at the live event. And then there's a VIP session on Saturday. There'll probably be about 30 people at that. And that, I believe, is at Adrian's home. So I did an interview with him yesterday, and we had a conversation, and I asked him, I said, so how are you feeling about live events? And he said, I have to eat a lot of crow for all of the events I went to that I thought could be better. He said, we've been doing this for 90 days, and it's been fascinating at many levels. And that inspired me last night in some meditation and some conversation to have a dialogue with myself. Because when you stand in front of an audience as an MC, I've been the MC for the last 2 events at the ANMP. I've been MCs for international organizations, both here domestically and for their international events. When you're the MC, you're not the one who is to be seen. You're the one who's to make everybody else be heard. And so, therefore, you have to have a certain level of understanding. You have to have a significant amount of creativity to be able to transport an idea. Does that make sense? Transporting an idea. When you transport an idea, it means it has to have a vehicle that is carrying it to the next person, to the next activity. So do me a favor real quick. If you were to draw an A and a B on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter how far apart they are, just A and B. A is where they make a decision. B is where they make the purchase, where they take the action. And so, Sean, we're talking about selling stuff. Yeah, every idea needs to be sold, right? Every idea needs to be sold. And people hate to be sold. They love to buy. So does your idea transport in such a way that they can make the purchase on their own decision, on their own behalf, on their own desire, on their own credibility, on their own belief? So this idea that this month is about leadership, next month is about leverage. You are not, I shouldn't say you're not going to want to miss next month, but you're probably not going to want to miss next month. You're going to want to be in the VIP session of next month to learn about leverage and to understand the nuances of leverage and to understand the massive responsibility you have when you understand the leverage that you are given. See, a lot of people call people mentors, and those mentors have no leverage over the individual. Follow me on this. Mentors have no leverage over the individual. Why? Because they're staying stuck. They're being told what to do. Mentors do not tell you what to do. They give you strong encouragement. They give you strong advice, and they say, do it, don't do it. Either way is fine. And that gives them tremendous leverage over the individual. The challenge is too many people who are trying to transport an idea through leadership are using leverage in a non-productive way. Holy crap, you're going to have to like break that down. Break it down for me. Let's break it down. I can't do any of that stuff. Let me see if I can't explain it in my farm boy way. There are thoughts that people have. There are desires that people want. There are wishes that people are hoping for, and there are outcomes that people need in their life. They need them. Challenge is they don't want them. They're going after the things they want, not the things they need. And so therefore, it's easy to speak to somebody. It's easy to gain leverage over somebody, because if you speak to their wants, called marketing, you can get a whole bunch of people buy a whole bunch of stuff that they'll never do anything with. How many of you have a book you haven't opened yet? How many of you have a book you haven't read 10 times? Listen, what are you talking about 10 times? I read the book once and I put it up. I gave it back to Books A Million. I gave it back to Half Price Books. Are you kidding me? If you got one nugget out of it, there's 1,000 more nuggets waiting to be dug out of that book. And those are the ones with that aren't the fool's gold. So transportation, how does leadership require transportation? Well, there's the physical level of transportation, right? Moving from here to there, people transporting themselves to get into your event. Here, the transportation was this. It was a mouse. Eek, a mouse. Oh! The transportation was a mouse. It was a button that said, click here. And it transported you digitally into this room right now. Whether you be live on social media or live in on YouTube or somewhere, you transported here with a simple click. Now, if you listen to your parents, how did they transport themselves to school? Everybody know the story? Uphill both ways in the snow with holes in their shoes. That was their transportation. How do your ideas transport to your audience? What kind of vehicle is your thought wrapped up in? What kind of message protects the thought that you have just given to somebody? What's the message that protects the thought? See, there's always a message. There's a thought and a message. Had a great conversation in our 12-week mastermind last night. It was so awesome. A very dear friend, a mentor of mine, somebody who educates me on a regular basis, because I'm going to date myself. She's kind of the E.F. Hutton of our group. She doesn't say much, but when she speaks, everybody kind of stops and listens. That was the 90-day challenge. And here was the question. The question was thoughts and actions and feelings. How do we identify them? How do we know which one is going to be the driving force? And it just so happened, I was at a location that I had pulled a journal. And here's the transportation. Listen to understand how an idea transports through time and space and energy. You ready? Thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain. So you're about to go have a message. You're about to go do a reel. You're about to go do a tiki-taki. Did he just say tiki-taki? Yes. You're going to create a thought that's going to activate the vocabulary in their brain. This is where most people, they fall short in their mentoring, in their leading, in their wanting, in their wishing, in their desire to lead people and help people and serve people, is that they activate the vocabulary of the brain. And in activating the vocabulary of the brain, the biggest problem, the biggest challenge, the thing that they fall short with, is they never activate the vocabulary in the body they want the message to activate. They leave that up to circumstance. Follow me on this. How many of you have ever watched somebody who seems to be in a good place, seems to be in good standing, seems to really want to serve you, and they say something that pisses you off to high heaven? Drop a P in the chat if that's ever happened to you. You're watching something and all of a sudden I'll be damned, they got under your skin. They stepped on your one feeling. How does that happen? How does that happen? Well, see, they activated the vocabulary of the brain. They didn't activate the vocabulary of the body to mimic, to be in concert, to be in harmony with the vocabulary of the brain. Their transportation stopped at the brain. It didn't make it down into the body. This is why it's so critical that if there's a desire, if you want to be able to connect more, if you want to be able to serve more, if you want to be able to have a better relationship with your audience, you have to understand that the vocabulary of the body speaks louder than the vocabulary of the brain. What the hell is he talking about? It's a phenomenon. It's a processes. It's an understanding called neuro encoding. This is the same thing that happens. How many of you ever have there is a smell of a perfume that I still don't know the name of it. I think I do. It's I remember the bottle it was in, but there's a smell of a perfume that if I smell it, it triggers the memory of a very special girlfriend. And instantly, a whole series of reels run in my head of that amazing woman. And it's the smell of a perfume that I couldn't even tell you the name of it. That's neuro encoding. A smell goes into my brain. And listen, does my brain smell? I don't answer that. Does the brain have the capacity to smell? I hope you know the answer is no. The brain has no smell. It actually has the olfactory, which they thought was a separate part of the brain because it's such a big part of the brain. The smell part of the ability, the sensory perception of smell inside the brain is one of the largest parts of the brain. So it turns it into a chemical. It takes a smell, runs it through the neural programming and processing center of your brain to look for a pattern. Will this kill me? Right? Kind of like somebody's fart. Will this kill me? Or was this, where's the pattern? And the pattern that it finds for me is an old girlfriend. First one. I was 18. You were 18 when you had your, maybe that explains why you're a little odd. Okay, I'll go with that. The point is that I could smell that smell today and instantly all of those things run in. I don't think about them. But this is where you activate the thoughts of the brain. See, that one skipped the thoughts of the vocabulary of the brain. There was no vocabulary of the brain. That went straight past the prefrontal cortex into the amygdala and then into this idea of this memory bank of the vocabulary of the body. See, you're being taught to speak the vocabulary of the brain. I can promise you, how many moms we got out there? Every mom, you know exactly how to speak to the vocabulary of the body of your child. Oh, and by the way, your child is a genius because they can't speak to the vocabulary of your brain. They speak only to the vocabulary of your body. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is making any sense. This is kind of high level stuff. This is leadership like 303. Why would I advance you so fast? Because I'm speaking at something you already know. You just haven't quantified it. Nobody's put it in a nice little basket and wrapped it up with a bow and put it on there for you. Why? Because here's why. You know why nobody spends the time to teach you this? Because they're too busy teaching you strength. I'm teaching you power. You don't need to be any stronger. Right now, you don't need to be any stronger. If you'd ever joined a leadership group with me or a mentorship group with me, a true mentorship group with me, I will work on your strength. First, there's no way that you're ever going to get any stronger until you realize the power you have. So I teach you power right now because you're strong enough. You've already been through 17 CrossFit camps this morning with all of your mental juggling and challenges and everything else. You'll follow me? So look at your messaging. Look at your messaging and see which vocabulary it activates. You want to know one of the greatest lines to activate the vocabulary of the body? You ready? You ready? It's the greatest tool to end an argument that the argument never ends. Here's that phrase. You're right. I just said that to you now. How many of you did I just skip the brain and went right into your body and you just had a seizure in your body? Because the last time somebody told you were right, you were like, kiss my greens. Follow me? See how we activate the body? When you understand, let me tell you some of the certifications that I have. No, they're real ones. I didn't get them out of a Cracker Jack box. For those of you that are younger, we used to get a lot of prizes out of a Cracker Jack box. So never mind. I'm certified in brain training. I'm certified in neuroencoding. I'm certified in self-talk. Right there, brain, neuroencoding, and self-talk. That's a trifecta that would absolutely blow anybody out of the water. You could have a conversation with that person, and boy, they could sure manipulate the living bejeebies out of you. So you got to promise to use this stuff for good. And then, wait, there's more, and there's more. There's hypnotherapy, certified hypnotherapist. Why? Because sometimes we have to unwire, rewire, and undo and displace and retrace some old stories so they don't keep dragging you down. Then mental toughness, certified to train in mental toughness. See, mental toughness has really nothing to do with understanding how to feed your brain. But once you feed your brain, you can then become more mentally tough. The challenge is that you're trying to go lift 100 pounds with a little skinny, scrawny little brain and its capacity and its capability and its understanding. It has no mental toughness. If I go, boo, ha, hee, ha, you're like, wee! And your brain gets scared with every new idea. Did he just do a little like Halloween thing? No. So mental toughness. There's something else that's in there too. Self-talk trainer, mental toughness, mindset. So there's 5 or 6 disciplines that allow me to access, that I know how to access. I can bypass the gate. Here's the challenge with some people. They want to bypass your gatekeeper, and they will motivate and inspire you, and your gatekeeper is getting more and more ticked off. How many of you, when you finally realized that they did all of this without permission, you literally shut down? How many of you have ever had that experience where you're like, oh my God, I had no idea that's what they were doing? So their level of transportation was not an amiable one to you. Can you transport your ideas and your thoughts? You're gonna love me for this. Which means you could also despise me for this. You ready? How do you send a message of leadership, of enlistment, of loyalty, of creativity? How do you send all of these messages that you want your audience to hear? How do you send it in gratitude? The transport is gratitude. The challenge is that you can be grateful for what you know. You can be grateful that you are in service. You can be grateful that you have the solution. Here's the challenge. Sometimes people wrap it up in gratefulness and not gratitude. 2 different things. Gratefulness is that you're excited that you know and that you can help, and you're the one serving. You're the one giving the hand out, not the hand up. You say things like, this would be so good for you. So instantly they have to operate in the paradigm of the binary world. If this would be so good for you, then I must be in a bad place. How many of you have ever had somebody say, this would be so good for you? You knew it in the vocabulary of the brain, but the vocabulary of the body said, you tell me this would be good for me one more time, and I swear to God, I'm going to shove my foot so far into my shoe See, there you can be filled with greatness. You can be filled with gratitude and it not be the same thing. How many of you know when somebody wants to serve you and they give you and they just, man, it seems so cool on the outside, but on the inside, man, there is a stench of resentment, of holier than thou-ness, of you don't need to be telling me what to do-ness. Even though the vocabulary of the brain says yes, the vocabulary of your body is like, you listen, you and that horse you came in on need to get the heck out of Dodge. Because when you understand how your message gets transported, you will understand, listen carefully, why they leave. Oh, good God. You normally crack us over the head like this on Mondays. Hey, listen, it's Monday. The reason your ideas give people a chance to leave is because that's the way they were transported. They were transported with the essence of non-connectivity. There's a big difference between happy and grateful. There's a big difference between happy and gratitude. There's a lot of people who, when a shopping cart bangs into their car, they're happy. They're happy it didn't ding it. They're happy it didn't scratch the paint. Where's the gratitude for the cart? How bad does the cart feel that they didn't get noticed? Damn cart. Listen, everything has energy. And follow me on this. If everything has energy, then everything is connected. Listen, this might be, for those of you who are possibly limited in your thinking creativity, you may want to just go get a cup of coffee now for the next 2 minutes while I explain this. If a shopping cart has energy, and it does, it vibrates. Wouldn't you say that it's vibrating? How does a shopping cart vibrate if it does not have energy? Everything is in a state of motion. If anything is existing on this plane, it is in a vibratory state. Yes? Yes. So everything has energy. So you cuss the shopping cart out. Guess what happens to the next person who touches the shopping cart? And you want a better world, and you just pissed off the next customer who touches that shopping cart, and they were having kind of a decent day. That's impossible. You're right. I'm rich. Let's move on. When you understand the laws of physics, see, the idea that everything is energy has not transported itself directly into your spirit. If you understand it, you comprehend it, you believe it at a logical level, it hasn't spoken to the vocabulary of your brain. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. I want you to look around your room, and I want you to find a picture of something that you aspire to be, somebody who you love. And I want you to look at that picture, and I want you to see if it doesn't instantly change the way your body feels. I want you to think about a memory. I want you to think about a memory of somebody who walked up behind you, who you love and care for, and they spoke unmentionables into your ear, and you just went, ooh, and you got all chills. How many of you just got chills right now? And hopefully they're not in the room, because I have more of my lesson I want to teach. How many of you just got chills? Everything has energy. And when you understand and move it from the vocabulary of the brain and understand the vocabulary of the body has more to say than the vocabulary of your brain, it's why you get stuck. It's why you get pissed off when somebody puts a note on social media and you're tracking them, you're stalking them, and you're like, that son of a gun, do you see what they're doing? Blah, blah, blah. We were just together 3 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden they're at a party. Are you kidding me? Everything has energy. You know that water has memory, right? Water has memory. Water makes up 70%, 80% of your body, makes up 80% of your brain. Do you know why it's so hard to change the thoughts in your brain? It's because of the water molecules, the hydration that's in your brain, limited hydration for most people. The water in your brain actually codes some of the neural connections. And you can have the happiest thought ever and in 2 minutes be pissed off as a wolverine. And pissed off isn't in your brain, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you know being pissed off is not in your brain? It is in your body. You have a level of vocabulary that you can make yourself instantly get sick, you want to throw up. Your pain, every time I think of that, my neck starts to hurt. Baloney, that's the vocabulary of your body. Do you speak body? See, when you understand neuroencoding, you'll learn how to speak body. So I'm gonna blow your mind just one more little bit before we go here, because I always like to under promise and over deliver. The next part of the conversation is listen carefully. How many of us believe in the quantum field? We want to believe in this universe. We want to believe in the ability that if we ask law of attraction, what are we asking? Where are we asking? Where does the asking happen in law of attraction? Where are you attracting it from? Most people say the universe, the God spirit, all of those things. Listen carefully. Thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field. So if words are the vocabulary, right? If thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain, thoughts are the electrical charge that spins up the quantum field. You ever watch any of those shows where the generator, the power goes out and somebody goes out and they try to kick on the generator and they got to crank it and they got to hit the starter button and it's going, and you see as the generator starts turning, the lights start coming on and off and on and off and on and off. Thoughts activate, spark up, spin up the quantum field. This is why you can have dreams and get so excited about a dream. Look at an image and it activates your prefrontal cortex and you start to have thoughts, and the thoughts are like, oh my God, that's going to be so amazing when I live in that house. It's going to be so amazing when I can walk my bride across the threshold. It's going to be so amazing when I can watch my grandchildren play around the fireplace. And that's the quantum field spun up by your thoughts. Here's where 98% of the people seem to jump off the quantum bus. Your feelings are the magnetic field inside of the quantum field. Your feelings are the magnetic energy inside the quantum field that start to assemble the thoughts that have been spun up into the quantum field. It's why emotion is so much more powerful than thought. Have to have the thought, spin up the energy, get the lights on in the quantum field, and then the feeling. This is why most people have to continue on and 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 on, because they haven't activated the feeling of the quantum field of the exact manifestation that they want. So therefore they keep having the thoughts, and then they start changing the thoughts because it's not working. And then they change the thoughts because it's not working. And the quantum field's going, holy crap, would you just pick one thought and hang on and let me build this thing? Get it into your body. Start to learn how to speak the vocabulary of the body. And when you learn how to speak the vocabulary of your own body, the challenge is you have a trauma from your childhood, from your teen. You've got a bad relation. You're still pissed off at them, and you're still mad at your parents about something that happened 30 years ago. And that energy, that emotion is not allowing you to build the thing in the quantum field so it can show up in the plane called this realm. Welcome to Sean G. Murphy, the 12-week mastermind. Welcome to having one-on-one conversations on a weekly basis in a group community, on a group basis, where you can actually understand all of this concept. See, the reason that you're struggling is because nobody's going to take the time to explain all of this because, hey, they haven't learned it on themselves. Now you take somebody who understands that thoughts are the vocabulary of the brain, feelings are the vocabulary of the body. You talk to somebody who understands that thoughts are the spark, the spin up for the quantum field, and that emotions are the spin up for the magnetism inside the quantum field to develop and build and absolutely deliver the thing you want into this world. You won't find people who understand how to translate that into your language. You just won't. You heard it just now. You heard it now, and it's really resonating inside the vocabulary of your brain, but it's got your body in a freaking knot. Because that's your old story going, holy crap, you just learned the secret. Nah, I can't be the secret. Why would a farm boy from Ohio with a 0.9 grade point average have the secret? Well, that's part of my story. I'm also a 5-time #1 best-selling author. How many of your mentors are a 5-time #1 best-selling author? How many of your mentors have stood on stage in 30 countries paid for by other companies than their own? Listen, it's one thing to be the person that stands up in front of your organization and leads people to have a conversation. Well, you're all in the same church. You're not going to toss out the next person who comes up and reads from Psalms 34. You're in the same church. When somebody gets to go speak in other churches, then I would start to call them a prophet. Then I would start to follow them with some vim and vigor. If they're just speaking the same language as you, if they've not been paid to share their message someplace else, do you realize that you're paying to hear their story? This is going to hurt. I know I'm going to get calls on this one. I get calls every day from people who watch the videos and they go, why the frick are you just pissing everybody off? I go, I'm not pissing anybody off. Well, you're pissing me off. Well, that's like, listen, I'm better off than on. You are paying. It's like an evangelist. You're paying. You're in the group with your auto ship and your monthly subscription and your subscribe and save. And you're listening to these people who you are paying to speak. Yes, they are publicly paid speakers in a very small audience. I don't know if you know, there was who was it? Earl Pitts. Anybody know Earl Pitts? What was Earl Pitts? What was his tagline? Wake up, America, right? I'd encourage you to open your eyes, spread your wings, learn more about being a little bit more in tune with your own success model than being a captive audience. Listen, I built organizations of 300,000 people. The last one that I built was 30,000 people. Why would I do that? I didn't. I built 2. I built 2 who built 30. I built 6 who built 30. How far does your message get transported? You want to understand duplication? Build the ones who will build the organization. Maybe you have such access to your mentor because you're the one building their organization. Ooh, snap. Just saying. So understand thoughts, vocabulary of the brain, feelings, vocabulary of the body, quantum field, thoughts, the energy that spins up, the electricity needed to spin up the quantum field, feelings, the ability to magnetize inside the quantum field, assemble and create so that it can easily cross over into the plane of your now and be delivered to you instantly. It'll always be instantly. It may take you 10 years to get to instantly, but it will always, 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 always be instantly. And if you're ready to shorten your life cycle of pain and suffering, reach out to me. Get started with the 12-week mastermind. It'll be one of the most challenging courses you take. There's people who are now going back through it the 3rd time. The 3rd time. Somebody sent me a message yesterday saying, I will never need another course. I said, God, I hope you will. I said, no, every time, by the time I get through with this, I have completely changed that the question on day 1 changes dramatically in my favor, in my success. Go to 12weekswithsean.com and get started. So there you go. Did I go over? I went way over. I apologize. I don't really apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I love you all. I appreciate you. I'd be curious. Go ahead and type in the chat. What'd you learn? What'd you like in social medias? I'm going to go have a conversation with my VIP group here for just a moment. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be difficult for me to do the episode. So I will have somebody in my inner circle. They're just going to work with the VIP group. Unless they want to go live on social media somewhere, they're more than welcome to do that. But I will be leaving at 6 a.m., maybe 5:30 a.m., driving, getting down to Little Rock to hop on a plane to go to Longmont, Colorado, landing in Denver, Colorado. And then I get to spend 2 days, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days with my dear friends, the Chenaults, Adrian and Tom, dear old dad, Tom Chenault, and have a conversation and get to see some of my friends and family and expand capabilities, activate the vocabulary of the vocabulary of the brain and the body, and then teach them how to spin up the electricity through thought and the magnetism of creation through feelings so they can have more of what they want and less of what they don't. If you have questions for me, reach out. Instagram in the bio, you can send a little message and say, hey, listen, I'm ready for more by doing less. I'm your head misfit, Sean Murphy. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Love you tons. Transport your ideas with love and joy, and I'll see you where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now. And YouTubers, or am I keep clicking live? No, I got to click the X. Eventually, I'll learn how to do this. YouTubers, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate you. And listen, if you're in this world, you're in this energy field of Sean Murphy, it speaks a lot about you because you're already a soul who's serving the world and saving the world and bringing tremendous value. So for that, my world is better. So I'm grateful for you, and I'm filled with gratitude because you showed up today. I love you tons. I am your head energy changing misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Till then, bye for now.